Imagine a universe made of infinite varieties, not just one endless expanse, but a hierarchy where some infinities are far larger than others. That strange, beautiful world was unveiled by Georg Cantor. This is his story. Georg Ferdinand Ludwig Philipp Cantor was born on March 3, 1845, in St. Petersburg, Russia. His family was a curious blend, a merchant father and a musician mother. Georg grew up playing the violin, and his musical upbringing gave him a creative spirit that blended perfectly with his love for logic. When he was just 11, Georg's family moved back to Germany. In places like Wiesbaden and Frankfurt, his mathematical talent became apparent. He wasn't just good at schoolwork, he was fascinated by big questions, the kind that don't have easy answers. As a young man, Cantor studied at the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich before transferring to the University of Berlin. There, he learned from titans of mathematics, Weierstrass, Kummer, and Kronecker. He earned his PhD in 1867, writing a thesis on indeterminate equations. After graduating, he took a modest teaching job. Eventually, he landed a position at the University of Halle, where he would spend most of his career and where his most revolutionary ideas would take root. Cantor wasn't satisfied with the usual understanding of infinity. He asked daring questions. Can we compare infinities? Can one infinite set be larger than another? He studied sets, collections of numbers or objects, and made a shocking discovery. He showed that the set of rational numbers, fractions, can be put in one-to-one correspondence with the natural numbers, meaning they are countably infinite. But when he looked at real numbers, including irrationals, he found that they are uncountable. There are strictly more real numbers than rationals. In other words, some infinities are bigger than others. He went further by defining the power set of any set, the set of all its subsets, and proved that even for an infinite set, its power set is always larger in a deep mathematical sense. Through all of this, he created what we now call set theory, a foundation for modern mathematics. Cantor's revolutionary ideas weren't welcomed by everyone. He faced sharp criticism, especially from his former teacher, Kronecker, who rejected the idea of actual infinities. Many in the mathematical world thought Cantor's work was too abstract, too philosophical. Over time, the pressure got to him. In 1884, he suffered a serious mental breakdown. His lifelong struggle with depression and mental illness weighed heavily on him. He was hospitalized periodically, but he never gave up. He believed deeply in what he was doing, not just as math, but as a profound philosophical and even spiritual journey. Cantor introduced the idea of transfinite numbers, infinite numbers that go beyond the familiar natural ones. He used the Hebrew letter Aleph to name them Aleph Null for the simplest infinite size and higher Alephs for larger ones. He also formulated the Continuum hypothesis, asking whether there is a size of infinity between the countable infinity of natural numbers and the infinite size of real numbers. It became one of the most profound and challenging questions in mathematics, a mystery that would be debated for generations. Despite the resistance, Cantor's vision gradually gained respect. Mathematicians like David Hilbert praised his ideas, declaring that no one could expel us from the paradise that Cantor created. His work became the bedrock for modern set theory, logic, and even areas like topology. Cantor's insights reshaped how we think about mathematics and infinity. His transfinite theory and his bold questions about size and infinity are still studied today. He laid out a whole new landscape of thought, a true mathematical revolution. In 1913, Cantor retired. His health and mental state deteriorated, and he spent his final years in a sanatorium. The world was in turmoil, World War I, financial hardship, and isolation weighed on him. On January 6, 1918, Georg Cantor passed away in Halle, Germany. Though his life ended quietly, his ideas echoed on. By then, the world was slowly beginning to recognize that he had opened a door to a new kind of infinity. Cantor's journey is a powerful reminder. The greatest ideas often begin in solitude and controversy. He challenged deeply held beliefs, faced fierce opposition, and yet continued to push forward. His work shows us that infinity is not a single concept, but a vast, structured universe. And his life teaches us that intellectual courage, even in the face of personal struggle, can change everything. So when you think about infinite possibilities in your own life, in your dreams, your goals, your creativity, Remember Georg Cantor. He once looked at infinity and whispered, "There is more than one way to be infinite." Thank you for watching and never stop wondering.